I'm recording and you're recording?
I'm recording. Are you recording?
Hell yeah.
Hey, yo.
Hello, hello.
Listener, do you hear that third voice?
It's me.
It's Katie of Cheap Smut.
That's right.
So, listener,
Speaking of,
Katie and her husband Carl are the hosts of Cheap Smut podcast. Katie, would you like to explain to listener how amazing your podcast is?
Oh my God. Well, I personally love my podcast. I am biased. So my podcast, Cheap Smut, is sort of like the dollop, but for smutty books. So I read a smutty book and then I tell my husband, Max, the plot of that book. He has recently started going by Max
I didn't know
in
that.
the public sphere.
Oh,
girl, you
okay.
gave me a heart attack. I was like,
I know,
I
I
thought she
was
was married to Carl.
Hold it, Tick.
Yeah. No,
Okay,
I am.
sorry.
I am married to Carl.
Oh,
but
I had a moment. Sorry.
in the
I gotta
in the
catch up.
public sphere, his name is Max Joy.
Max.
Ooh,
Okay.
okay. Oh, I love that.
And he uses that. Yep, he uses that for Cheap Smut for his comedy work and for his upcoming cover model work.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's going to start working as a cover model soon.
that's so cool.
He got in touch with Tony Bretman at Sinful Signings in June. And Tony was like, "Are you a model? Why are you not a model?"
Oh.
And then Carl was like, "Well, now I have to be."
That's so sweet.
So I read the book and then I tell Max the story and I read the wildest books I can find because they're my preferred smutty books.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I just read the craziest shit I can get my hands on and then we laugh about it, make a lot of jokes. But the reason I think it's so awesome is because we specifically come at it from a place of extreme love. We love these books.
Mhm.
I love these books.
Yeah, it's not like shitting on them. It's like it's like really enjoying it. Like
Exactly.
And I think like a lot of people kind of look at romance in this way of like, oh, it's dumb, it's cringe, but like finding like the actual joy in it is so
exactly. I've heard one too many times from authors. I'll have someone message me and say, "I listened to your show and I really loved it. I was nervous to listen because I've listened in the past to other podcasts and they've shit on my book." I hate that story. And the number of times I've heard it, it makes me so mad.
You know, like the conversation we're going to have, there's like the reader space and there's the author space.
And the romance space that kind of holds both of them, but like they're not in total overlap.
The distance between like the book and the author to people sometimes is a lot greater than the actual distance, right? Like you're trying to be cool about these things, but like also like you're very emotionally connected to this.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Literally. Oh, I can't even remember what the name of like the channel, but there's like a number of like Instagram accounts that like say things like their title is something like bad books reviews, and then like they'll tag you and you'll be like, "Ma'am,
please don't
do that."
What? Why the fuck?
No, and even if they're like 5 stars, I loved it. You're like, but you know, like you have this moment of like, I'm trying to see if you're like being ironic about it or if like you're on board with how fun this space can be, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So I can't in good conscience ever talk about a book that I did not like in that way. There is a space for constructive criticism.
And a lot of reviews do that, but like,
a lot of reviews do that. I don't personally want to do that because I don't feel like I have the tools to properly criticize the book in the like Webster's definition of criticize something.
Oh my God, I cannot tell you the number of like, this is my beef. Like, I'm sorry. Because, and I say this because I 100% used to be this person of like, I'm so pretentious. I'm so up my own ass and I think I know everything. Like I'm still a little bit
we were all teenagers once.
No, but like the with the audacity to like go up to someone else's work and be like, this is what's wrong with it, you know, and also be wrong when I say that. Like it pops up to me in like a number of things. Like I got someone who messaged me like, I see you used this word and I think you used it wrong, and I'm like, why are you direct messaging me about this,
dude?
Like
because that's like that was gonna be my argument is like, yeah, I'm a very critical reader, but I'm not going to go in a public space and say this, right? Like the most public space I'm going to go is the Smut Coven, right?
Yeah, put it in the group chat, complain to your friends.
Exactly. But like at the same rate, I do see the value in someone who is willing to do that in like a space where reviews are at. But like like you said, like, why are you direct messaging me? Please don't tag me in this review that's going to make me feel bad.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
That's what your Goodreads is for.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Dude, I know I've told this story like already like a bunch of times, but there was like a book I had read and I didn't enjoy it, didn't do what I want. It wasn't bad, but I went on like, I think it was literally like the Heaving Bosoms like fan page, and because like people constantly recommend, you know, their favorite romance novels. Like that's what the whole space is about. And so I was like, hey guys, I want to read a book that kind of fills the same requirements as this book, but it's not this book because I just read it and I didn't like it. Then someone else went and tagged the author and I was like, why would you do that? I was like, she didn't need to know.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, I didn't know how to respond to that person to be like, hey what the fuck? Like, seriously.
Please don't do that.
Like, I didn't tag her on purpose.
It's not my job to like every book. Like,
oh, no, it's just...
oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah, no, it's gonna live with me and haunt me, and if I ever meet her, I'm just gonna, like, apologize immediately.
Just,
like...
Don't you have a different name on the...
Oh, yeah, no, she wouldn't know it's me.
You never admit to it.
No, yeah, okay.
And it's like, no, if I'm standing next to you, I'll just hold my hand over your mouth, like, shh. Like,
honestly, I might
She said nothing.
You know, one time. Okay, so how long have you been doing your podcast?
We're in season 3. We are coming to my favorite part of the season, which is the fall. And we'll finish up at the end of the year. We go on hiatus from New Year's till Valentine's Day.
You guys are
just
so
to give us
much
a break
more
through the heaviest part of the winter.
About your releases than we are.
Do you know how many episodes a season you're doing?
Yes, we do. It's changed several times, but yeah, it changes as I have the ability to do the job. Like we used to do this every single week. Now we're up to every 2 weeks because through the summer I was like, I can't do this anymore. Every single week, fair. A book.
Yeah, that's a lot.
A book report. Yeah. We've sort of adjusted the format over time slowly, but the consistency has remained. I'm very proud of the consistency of this show, if I'm being honest.
That's a huge accomplishment, dude. Like, oh my God, our hiatuses are so long because mostly me can't get my shit together, but little bit of me.
This year, man, I'll carry that burden.
Authors with
no, like literally, it was July when I said, "Oh, I need to edit episodes again."
Yeah. Well, we went on hiatus in like November or something. Like,
oh yeah,
it was like a full half a year. And then we just started posting and didn't tell anyone. We still haven't posted.
Also. Listen, one of these years we're gonna like make actual social media channels for the podcast itself. Yeah.
But like I mean, I think that something that is different about how like this podcast exists compared to Cheap Smut is like, this is in tandem to our writing careers. This is not like our focus.
Because like Cheap Smut, our focus is writing and like, which I think has a much smaller audience of people who are mostly just interested in doing the writing part. Yeah. Well, like also like Cheap Smut is definitely, I don't want to say it takes itself seriously, but like, cause it does, like it doesn't, it's very fun and playful. And when I say take itself seriously, that feels very like stuffy, but like got you you have a more clear like goal and strategy than we do.
I guess I suppose I wouldn't necessarily say anything is a strategy. The goal is just to keep doing it. And I guess the ultimate goal of the podcast has always been just to celebrate how much I love these books. These books are the only thing that keeps me going sometimes. I mean, shit.
This
I started planning it. Oh, I know. I started planning this podcast while I was like neck deep in the 4th trimester with my daughter. The first 3 months after she was born, because I was nursing. I was in that chair for hours at a time, just reading or watching TV. And that's when I got back into romance books. And that's when I first read Love, Laugh, Lich, actually, was around that time. And that was one of the books that made me go, I need to turn this into a podcast or something, because I need to tell people. He had 3 dicks. People need to know this.
I do love that that's like the first thing they say about that book. Like I've gotten a lot of like random DMs from people who just go, girl, 3 dicks. Oh my God.
Yes. 3 dicks.
Like, that's the opening line.
Okay, one of my favorite observations was from Damsels, whatever that podcast is. I can't remember right now. I'm so sorry, listener. Hopefully I am able to put it in the show notes or something. But there was a podcast other than Cheap Smut that did Love Laugh Lich. And one of the observations from
Damsels Never Finished, that's it.
Yes, thank you so much. Was he's a necromancy. So like he created his 3-dick situation.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
So like what's the purpose other than like providing pleasure? And I'm like, that is such a fantastic observation.
I love like what people bring to books, like
yes.
the way that like there's stuff you don't even think about that like when a reader or a reviewer like starts going over and making these connections, you're like, God, I wish I thought about that.
Yes. I just had that experience recently with one of my books where a friend read it and she's like, okay, totally love this. This is what I was thinking was going to happen. And I was like, you know what? That would have been better. That would have been so much better.
That would have been better.
Oh.
Shit.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, she's out there now. So
that's too funny. I love it.
But yeah, that experience happens all the time, really.
I think it kind of helps you like not take yourself as like so seriously and kind of go, all right, because like especially when you first start writing books, like I think you can get into this mindset of like, this thing, my current project is going to be my magnum opus. It's the most important thing I've ever worked on. I have to put so much effort into it. It needs to be perfect. And like you put so much pressure on it, and then it breaks your heart when anyone says anything bad about it. And then but like it's good to be able to have like, all right, yeah, no, like this is the way the story turned out, that kind of degree of separation of like, absolutely. It could have gone in all these other ways, and it's cool to see like what a different mind would connect if it was working on that,
Well, and I know that like personally, my like maturing as an author has coincided with my like letting go of that mindset, right? Like I am better for not being so precious.
Yeah, right? I mean, there's that realization that you have to, once it's out there, it's not yours anymore.
That's so hard to like.
It is. It's not solely yours. Like it is now open for interpretation.
At what point does the art separate from the artist?
Yeah. And like, again, I think that a lot of times that space is seen as much wider than like the experience of having this piece of like this book out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I would love to talk a bit about like what are some of the trends you're seeing in the reader space, if you feel like you could express on that, or like what are some things that you think are slipping away, or I don't know, like I feel like as authors we'll see things that come and go a bit.
Yeah, like when we talked to Roxy Noir forever ago, I remember like, because she's been in this like industry, this field for like at least 10-15 years already, and she talked to us a little bit about the ways she's seen like certain publishing trends kind of rise, and like the shift to self-publishing has been really huge, like and she's gotten to witness so much of it, and think like the rise of monster romance like 10 years ago was not a thing, like not as much of a thing, it was like, it was just the paranormal shifters. I really feel like you got a lot of shifters, but like there was a much narrower set of expectations of what it could be, what you could do with it, and now we've got like alien cowboys, like
well, and then also like the step further and further into like erotic, and then further and further into dark, like we've seen that over the past 5 years too.
Yes. I actually have degrees in theater that kind of inform how I think about the reader space in art, in literature, and you can kind of see in a pattern start to emerge from like a socio-political standpoint that feeds itself into other media, because romance in particular is I think the only women dominated art form. The trend toward dark, the trend toward inhuman, the trend toward absurd, I think is our collective response to our current patriarchy situation.
Well, and like
I have so many thoughts about like, sorry, I'll let you talk.
Yeah, please. Yep, you can talk.
So I mean, you see a lot, especially in the dark romance space, that it's a form of healing for a lot of people who have experienced some kind of violence, but particularly sexual violence, to reframe it in a way that feels like you have control again. It gives you back a certain amount of agency in a situation where you had none. So in that respect, dark romance in particular is kind of stepping up in that conversation. But I think larger in terms of monster romance, people are so fucking sick of men that they almost just don't want to deal with them at all anymore. So they'll take all the masculine traits that they kind of have this idealized version of, but then they'll put it inside something that is not human. And therefore, you can remove all of those icky patriarchal traits that don't work, or you can reframe them in a way that does work. I honestly think it's just a trend towards the fantastical as a method of escape from reality.
Totally. I think like when we look at kind of the broader history of romance, especially like the kind of shift away currently, like we're already past the shift away from like bodice rippers as they used to be called, like, and the reason that they had this name is like because they were associated with this kind of sexual violence and this like lack of like verbalized consent or even like implicit like it. But then we also have to like look at the context of the history of the time and like the way that like that there wasn't quite the emphasis or really full-throated sexual liberation. I think that we have more today. I don't want to say full-throated. That sounds awful. Deep-throated sexual liberation.
Goddamn right.
There's still quite like a feeling of like shame and sort of more conservative feelings about like sexuality overall, I think, back when bodice rippers, especially when it comes to like women's sexuality, like an emphasis on like the way that women receive or think about their pleasure at all, like, and so because it's so demonized, and the idea that the women who are writing these violent sexual fantasies are writing them because they feel conditioned by society that they can't vocalize, I want these things to happen, you know, I can't ask for them, they just have to happen to me, you know. And like, well, in reality, like that is assault, but like in a book space, like you're creating this fantasy where like you can have it all, actually. You can skip over the discomfort of voicing your own sexual needs and just receive what the character like. Does that make like am I just wandering off into the deep end? And I feel like this does connect to what we're seeing in darker romance, because we've had this kind of, because like I remember when I kind of entered the romance space, there was this huge conversation, like it was a little bit coming off of the Me Too movement, and people really talking about like how prevalent sexual violence is, and kind of really getting a grasp on that, and talking about how we discuss consent in romance. And I think we've seen such a move towards like having that heavy emphasis. Then we're kind of also leaving behind people who are still maybe having those difficult feelings about feeling repressed, feeling like they can't vocalize what they want, and kind of like...
Well, I think one of the things that romance a lot of times does is it helps women, or I don't know how to speak for any other gender, but it helps women identify like, oh, that is something I like. That is something I'd like to explore. And it can also give more sexual empowerment to feel comfortable saying that, because you're watching another lead in a book express like, oh, this is something I want. So like changing the conversation a bit from like the dark romance of it all, but like how romance can empower us to be like, oh, well, that's an interesting thing that just happened in my brain reading that thing I didn't know was interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like, and then
100%.
Watching it, we all empathize like so much with our fictional characters. So watching these characters have a new experience and express like, I like that, I don't like that, I think it really helps give a voice to people that, you know, were conditioned to be embarrassed.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. I think there's also like a sort of area of like, just because reading about it, witnessing something in a fictional space, and just because you find it hot or whatever, does not mean you necessarily want it to happen to you.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, and then also I
think like
for sure,
there's been things that I'm like, oh, I think I'd like that, and then I read it, I'm like, I don't think I'd like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
there's also stuff that's like, I only like it when I'm reading about it. It's like, if you brought this into the real world, I would be out of there. Like,
absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure. There are tropes that only exist in books because you can't bring them into the real world. But fiction has always been a way for people to experience unsafe things in a safe way.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, like I can't fuck a 9 foot tall demon with a gigantic dick. Also, we need to pin this, but I want to have the dick conversation at some point.
Of course.
Put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it. Like, I don't want to have sex with a 9 foot tall shadow demon.
Mm-hmm.
Never gonna happen. But it's fascinating to read about.
Yeah. Yeah.
In an anthropological way almost. Like,
don't like
whoa.
God, I know like people make fun of it when people are like, don't actually want like a 12-inch long dick, you know? Like
yes.
Like an average I'm not a size queen, like an average dick will do.
Yeah.
And but like there's something about like the exaggeration in the romance, like or just in a novel where you're like you get to I don't know, just really play things up, and like I think the exaggeration is part of the fantasy. Like I wish I had a better thought to like tap onto
fair.
that. Like
no, it does make sense. Like, yeah, okay, we're heightening all of the stakes.
Yeah.
All of them. Everything's a little bit grander than life. I just, we stopped having this conversation on Cheap Smut because it got to be boring at some point, but like every dick is huge. Everyone.
God. And it does feel a little bit like you cannot like back down from that. It's like,
it does, as a
here's
writer,
our monster with his average size.
Well, I even write humans, and I'm like, I really don't want to go into. That was something I discovered with Truth or Dare is like, I kind of described his penis more than like I really wanted to. Right. And it was like, I did it. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to dial back from there. Right. And there's still like, it's still coded as being gigantic, but there's nothing specific that's said. And I think as the reader space, they'll make their assumptions. But like also like, it's like, I feel like, and I don't know how much of this is like the patriarchy, like finding its way into our psyche. But I feel like that is so much a part of the like fantasy, and that's what romance is writing.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah. It's the dreaded patriarchy worming its way. Even the men that we write, we have to compliment them with big dicks.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's so funny. I will say, like, I've read a few books where it is not mentioned at all. Like, the size of it, the shape of it, anything at all. You just
fill in the blanks. Does that feel disappointing, though, when you're like, oh, I thought you were going to describe this for me, like, immerse me in the fantasy?
I mean, not personally, but I'm a very, like... I'm
you feel jaded maybe
kind of reader.
That.
I don't it doesn't bother me either way if they don't describe it. But if the sex is good, then the sex is good. With the dick, it doesn't matter. But I'm also not like there are some people who really do enjoy what a dick looks like. They want to know everything about it. It's a bit of a fetishist thing. And that's fine by me. I'm just not in that group. So I don't care what your dick looks like, man. I really don't.
Yeah.
There's certain like conventions in writing romance. I think kind of like the you have to give your hero a large dick is kind of like one of them. But it's also, there's like, when you're writing a sex scene, and I feel like historical romance, there's like, it's always the make yourself ready for me. This is going to hurt the first time. And like there's these notes, right? Like, it's like, what does that mean, first of all?
Yes, exactly.
No, I love
like, so do I need to get myself
I remember reading
here?
This like Tessa Dare interview where she's talking about where she read that line so many times, and then she was like trying to find out what it actually meant. Like, was there like a list of steps, or was it just something that like everyone is copying everyone's homework on this and just being like, this is the thing they said, I promise.
I do remember reading Bertrice Small of my mother's when I was a kid. My mom loved Bertrice. And it specifically had like the hero had a way larger than average dick, but that was part of the story. Was like he had training phalluses for her to help her. Like, he used progressively larger dildos to help her accommodate before it ever got to the point where he would have to hurt her. And that's a book that was written in like the 90s.
That's impressive.
The only one I ever read like that, but Bertrice had a lot of kink in her books. Not a lot of authors in that time period had kink.
No,
she had kink. She had dark. Some of her villains were like straight up dark, unpleasant people.
Oh my god, unpleasant heroes is such a hallmark of so many romances. I was reading a book that I was complaining about so much. I was like, this man cares nothing for the heroine. He's obsessed with his horse. And I'm so mad about this horse.
I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed reading your responses to this book to Andrew.
Like, every time this man came on the page, and then I would be like, get him obsessed for autism, because this is his special interest so bad. Like, he needs support, but he's also like hurting people's feelings out here. Like,
oh my God. What book was this?
Oh, it was a Tessa Dare book. It was one of her early ones. Oh, see, she does, honestly, I think, do a really good effort for, especially for, like, historicals where they don't have the terminology to, like, describe, like, neurodivergent people. She does, like, I think she makes a good effort in, like, creating dyslexic characters, creating ADHD characters, and autistic characters. Like, it's there. You have to be able to spot it, I think, for yourself, because they're not going to name it out loud because they don't have the terminology. But and I do think she does a good representation on it.
Thinking of a very specific book you're describing. It's not Tessa Dare. I have to Google it. What is it? The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie by Jennifer Ashley.
Ooh.
I don't know this
Lord
one.
Ian Mackenzie is the most autistic man I've ever read on page. Like, ever. He's deeply obsessed with like Wang Dynasty pottery.
Oh, I love that.
Amazing.
Oh, that's fucking cute.
And he goes into like really explicit and deep detail in this one scene about how this one pot is not what he wants because it doesn't look. I was like, this man is so fucking autistic. And then like the whole book, I was like, he can't be married, right? He can't have a partner right now. This is not the kind of person that needs to be anything to another human being, let alone a husband, right? But here he is being I don't know, Lord Ian Mackenzie marrying some lucky lady. That was an interesting one because they did very much have an autistic character that they could not use modern. Like, you can't call him neurospicy.
No, you can't be like, oh God. I think like I remember because I definitely tried writing a historical with ADHD representation once. Don't know if I pulled it off at all. It's not published. But I was researching and I was like, well, so like the first like time where they like kind of put a like this, we're going to call this like a disorder. And like, we're kind of getting an idea of what it is like in early 1900s. It's like 1910. Wow. And they're like describing it as like, look at the language they use is kind of awful because they're well, it's a, lack of character or it's a, like they're not calling it like attention deficit disorder. They're calling it, you've got bad shit in you, like.
Yeah. What's really interesting is how much of that still prevails. Like I have a friend
100%
who she was describing the language around like autistic children compared to the language around gifted children, right? So like, gosh, I wish I could come up with any of her specific examples. It's not going to be correct, but like, autistic, hyperfixation, gifted, deep interest. You know what I mean? Like, it's like this, like the language is saying the same thing, but it is doing it in a very different tone. So yeah, it was just really interesting. Anyway.
This is like another thought. No, like I want to, like, I have a couple of thoughts. It's so like, we're not going in the right direction for this conversation.
But have we covered our dick conversation, or are we still moving?
Ooh, oh, you're right. No, we gotta.
Are we
back
still?
up and go back
we still
down
have
that
our
road.
pin in that dick.
I mean, okay.
No one likes
that. No one.
I would say we can talk about the prevalence of piercings now.
Interesting. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Because there are a lot more piercings, specifically, I think, because of dark romance. But I just read, actually, piercings and dicks combo conversation. I just read a book a couple weeks ago with an alien who had a little dick.
Oh, interesting.
Ooh.
Like that was his specific, like, this is my secret shame.
No.
I have. Oh. Sorry, guys, hear Jones shaking it out right now. His collar is going crazy. He was this like giant 7-foot winged green alien guy. And he had lived his whole life in shame because as he went through his like, husband training, which is another thing I love in alien books, they like go to sex school.
Hilarious.
During his husband training, all of his partners had given him shit because his dick was small. It was so small that he couldn't fit all of the traditional rungs of the Jacob's ladder piercing that was supposed to be on his dick. Like he couldn't fit all of the rungs because his dick just wasn't big enough. And the FMC in that book was a little person. She was 4'9".
So they
She's
like
very
really
small.
complimented each other then.
Yeah, and she like her response was, "I am so small. I thought you were gonna kill me. This works out great for everybody."
No, I
right?
love that.
That is sweet.
It was so good. But that's like I think maybe the only time I've ever read a book where the guy specifically had a small dick, unless it was a kink book about small dicks, because there are those too.
Huh.
Otherwise, they're huge, and it's.
Well, and then I don't know. It's just weird. It's just a weird obsession in our entire society about
I feel
male appendages.
I love that like the husband training is a thing I never would have conceived of on my like for myself, like for anything I've ever thought of. Like I don't know that I could come up with that. And I love that like
I love it.
I love that the romance space like creates this like place where we really can get away, because like the patriarchy would not come up with that.
No,
well,
never. But then also, like, okay, so I'm sure it is addressed within the book, but like my next question is like, does the conversation about consent come up in this husband training? Right? Does that make sense? Like,
yes. I mean, a lot of these books leave a lot to be desired in terms of like the critical conversation. Husband training implies a very heteronormative society in the first place. But every version of it I have read, consent is always a really important part of the training in and of itself. Not just the actual like verbal conversation, but being able to read the body language of your partner enough to know they're uncomfortable, even if they can't vocalize
that. My thought wasn't about the partner in the future. My thought was of the person going through this training, or the creature going through this training.
Consenting to the
whether
training
or not they feel
itself.
comfortable doing it. So, okay, that's a good conversation to have. Is it so normalized that you have actually provoked some consent?
Exactly. And then also
like there's a lot of things in our society that like,
well, in the heteronormative conversation, and obviously this is very true for a reason, consent is so much more placed on women, but we don't like really have the conversation.
Don't ask guys like,
that they're just supposed to be down, right? But like, I think that that's part of the conversation that like would bring us closer to an understanding in the middle, right? And again, like I acknowledge why things are the way they are. So
I acknowledge as well. Like, okay, obviously the fictional problem that you've thought up to solve, or the fictional solution you've thought up to solve your problem, is not like a viable solution.
Creating more problems in other ways that we're not really thinking about.
Because like my first thought was like, man, that's like a fun little idea to me. Like that is like the husbandly training is like, ooh, that's a fun little spice in my brain. I like that. And then my next thought was like, ooh, I don't know, right? Like the next, like it's like going down the stairs of like, hold it, I just hit a roadblock and I don't.
Also, like that's kind of like what I'm getting at with like the romance being a space, or like fiction especially being a space where it's
safe.
It doesn't have to be so grounded, you know, because these are not like actual people who are like like experiencing repercussions for like flawed thinking or flawed world building.
Well, but like,
you know,
this becomes like a flaw in my brain where
like
I can't remove myself from that grounding.
You just gotta like yes and your way through it.
That's fair.
Just make it even bigger and weirder. Read some Chuck Tingle.
It is a it is a roadblock I also get to, where I'm like, I want to write like this kind of scene and I want like there to be these kinds of dynamics, but then I'll like get through it, like I'll start doing the building to like support this scene, and then I'm like, well, the world building's actually kind of fucked up now because like there's this huge problematic power imbalance, and like, I'll get into like the nitty gritty of that, and then I'm like, well, then the scene can't happen because I can't support it, and I'm like, it gets so twisty in your mind.
Yeah, I get that. I definitely have things like that too, where like, and it becomes like part of the conversation of this is escapism, but also I have a responsibility to the way I represent society, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's like, how deep do you want to like go into your own fantasy with like before you check it, you know?
Well, and then also like I do see the purpose of authors that don't check this, right? Like we've already talked about how you know, it creates a safe space to have a fantasy, right?
Yes.
But
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I personally am just like someone who doesn't separate in my brain that way,
Mhm.
I
right?
think because like you feel you have the responsibility of like making sure, because like you check your book in all these other ways of like, hey, is the language responsible? Are we
Yeah.
like using updated terms to describe people? Are we like making sure we're not using anything like offensive? All those like little boxes in your head that you're checking. And then like, of course, all these other things like get put on the list too of like, hey, are we making sure that this is like a safe space for everybody? Which is important.
Well,
But
and then,
at
like,
the same time, like I do get like sometimes things they overlap a little bit.
um,
Does that make
Yeah,
any
I
sense?
get
I feel
that.
like I've lost the trail in my thought.
well, I get
No,
that.
you haven't.
Yeah. No, my thought is like it even just comes down to like the way people have conversations. Like I want the dialogue to feel like you could overhear this and not be like, who are they talking for? Right? So and like it's just like not everyone has that kind of strict approach, right?
I was gonna say every artist is different.
Exactly.
No, Degas could not paint Van Gogh. It's just what you do and the way you do it. So you have to be faithful to your own voice, even if that does mean in some respects you may feel slightly limited in your scope. It doesn't. It just means you're very strong in your foundation.
That's a good way to put it. That is nice.
Dude, that's like such a good
Should we put that on a
God.
paper and put that up on the
Yeah,
wall?
print it out, put it on your wall.
Oh,
Read
yeah,
it every
absolutely.
single time you start to write. Like, all right, Katie said I'm allowed to do this.
Katie said it's
Yes.
okay.
You have permission from me to be yourself and not what other people want you to be.
Thanks, Katie.
See, like I do need that like frequently. Like
Oh, I went to therapy yesterday to have someone else tell me that exact thing. Like,
Mood. Isn't it so funny?
just send each
like,
other voice notes every now and then.
Exactly.
Like, all right, you have permission.
You have permission. Well, and like, isn't it funny how like you can be so kind to other people, but like the standard you hold yourself to is like, yeah, that's a bit
I know.
rigid, right?
Right. Man, I give so much grace to other people,
Mood.
but not me. I don't trust that bitch at all.
No, because like you're trying to like, oh, I gotta do better, but like when you're constantly telling yourself do this better, it does sound really negative after a while, and like,
well, and then also like,
dude,
have you hit the goalpost that you were aiming for when you started this journey?
Did you also move the goalpost along the way?
Moving it. Yes, you kept on being like, I need to get better at this thing. I need to get better at this thing. But like the person who set this goal originally would be like, oh my God, I've done it. You know what I mean?
We literally just like, this is the episode I just edited, is we were talking about exactly this and exactly the goalpost thing. About like every time you finish writing a book, like you should celebrate that.
Yeah.
Like, you should, tell yourself like, oh my God, I did the thing I set out to do. But like you kind of, we get into the habit of skipping over this and, immediately put it into like the production pipeline and
it was so
build your launch campaign.
Last week we finished like getting the house ready and it listed and all this stuff. And like, listener, I might not have talked ad nauseum about what a challenge this has been. It's been months and it's been really hard work, all this stuff. And I told my first friend, because it listed at like 3:45 and then I had to pick up the kids at 3:50, right? I told my first friend, I was like, hey, it's listed. And she's like, oh my God, are you guys gonna go celebrate tonight? And I'm like, that didn't even cross my mind. I suppose that's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, no, you should. I fully support you celebrating, because like you
Mom
put so much
brunch.
Work into. Aw,
you
told me about that.
But yeah, so
I think there's this like idea that you can't celebrate yourself. You have to wait for other people to celebrate
right?
you.
Oh my God. Literally because when I finished writing Be My Bad Guy, my current thing that I'm working on, I literally told Austin, like, hey, I want to celebrate this one and I want you to make the dinner reservation because I want you to do it.
Yeah.
And so, of course, it's not gone anywhere and I have to, like, remind him.
Of course.
I get that.
God
there
bless.
were a couple of, now gathered, like, I'm going to say this, listener, please know that my husband wakes up at an ungodly hour, works an ungodly amount of time, and then comes home, and then is, like, still a present father
confirm.
and
the
husband.
One time
You saw him for
Sorry,
like
I'm
30
interrupting
seconds.
you so much.
No, you're good.
Literally, literally the one time I stayed at Marty's house, I like woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and like he was just there in the kitchen, and I like bumped into him. I was like, "Oh my God,
what are you doing?"
Scared the bejesus out of each other, and then I went back and was like,
"I didn't know this." Jesus, that's So funny. But yeah, so when I say this, he's not cruel and he's very supportive. But like, there were a couple of books I finished and got them released, and I'm like, hey, I want to have a glass of like bubbly with you tonight. And he's like, awesome, let's do that. And then like get the kids down for bed, and he is out cold. And I'm like, I'll just drink this by myself in the basement, right? Like, and like, like doing my best to like still celebrate, but like sometimes the image of it doesn't come out perfectly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I tend to be pretty good about celebrating releases, but finishing books, no. That's just getting the job done apparently still.
I just did the thing I said I was going to
exactly.
do. It's fine.
Isn't that like the most Midwestern, like
for real?
Yeah. Oh my God, what an accomplishment. It just needed to be done. Like,
exactly.
Exactly. Listener, what you don't know is Katie is also a Michigander. So
I am. I live like not too far away from Marty.
Yeah, we get to hang.
Yeah, I'm so jealous of that.
I know.
Move to Michigan.
Please move to Michigan.
I know, you should.
It's such a great place.
I'm campaigning for it.
There are like 6 houses in my neighborhood.
Buy my old
for
house.
sale right now. buy my old house. It's really nice. I helped clean the front.
I'm in this room right now, and I'm like, I was looking around, like, Katie did such a good job in here.
Oh,
looks really nice.
The windows were a little dirty. That's
right. It looks so much better in here. Anyway,
I mean, like it's empty, right? Because like you guys moved out.
Yep, it's empty. For the most part, we still have some stuff in the garage and stuff, but we needed a nap.
But it's all done now.
Yes, and it is listed.
Hell yeah. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
It's been such a. I know we're like totally way off point.
Way off point. Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Well, but this is also an interesting observation because I was just starting our last episode that you put out there. It just came out today, and I was just listening to it and hearing like my goals for the year and this and that. I'm like, oh, she doesn't even know yet. Like she doesn't. Oh my God!
Like literally the way I was gonna tell you. Like every time I'm editing one of these like episodes from earlier, like the first half of this year, first quarter really, and you're telling me about your goals and like when you want this book published, and then I think, oh my God. The way that I watched all of your goals, like
they just
so many things happened because of the house, because of the move.
Yeah.
And because I remember because like during the middle of this year and you telling me like, oh, I feel so terrible because I have to delay this goal again. I got to scoot the publishing date down and this half of the book isn't finished being edited yet. And I kept thinking like, why are you being so hard on yourself? Because I had forgotten at that point when your actual goal was like for.
Yeah. It's okay though. I'm in a much better mental state about everything now.
I think like it also kind of overlooks how much work you were doing on the houses because it's not just one house you were working on. You were working on 2 houses.
Yeah.
Seriously, you were working your butt off.
Yeah, we are tired. We are recovering. Yeah. Things are good. It's been like, it's really nice to get back into like Remy and Alicia. I did extend out my pre-order 30 days. So now it's like, okay, it's a December 5th release. So, it's just, we're just getting ready and it's going to be good. Now it's like, okay, I would like to do some marketing before I release it. You know what I mean? Like I have to get this thing done so I can actually talk about it a bit before it's just live. So
hell yeah. Send me the blurb when it's done.
I will.
And I'll do a thing on the show.
I freaking love you. Thank you so much. So this is an interesting question. Katie, how do you find your books that you want to read?
How do I find my books? Okay. I do it in a couple of different ways. So I'll go down an algorithm rabbit hole on Kindle. If you like this author, then you might like this author, then you might like this author. And I go through their catalogs and I look specifically for books that are within my page range.
That's so
early on in the show, I was reading monsters, huge books, monsters as characters as well. But when we did A Soul to Keep by Opal Rain,
those are chunky.
It was a 3-parter because it's just such a huge fucking book and there's so much world building in that you can't skip stuff. And so it ended up being a 3-parter, and we found that if we have more than one part, people aren't reading or aren't listening to the second part most of the time. I know, it's weird. There's only one book where that was an exception, and that was called Courageous Hearts. For whatever reason, Emmy Sanders' Courageous Hearts, people wanted to listen to both parts of that, maybe because Bo's story is so good. But after a while, I was like, okay, no more than 150 pages. That's it.
That's so fair.
I can't do more than that.
because you're doing it every 2. Like, that's a lot of.
That's a lot.
The way that like the. This is
I couldn't.
Maybe a little off topic, but like I'm the slowest goddamn reader ever.
Same.
And literally,
me too.
Oh, but you read so much. Oh my God. And the way that like you're putting an episode out every 2 weeks and you're reading this much consistently, and
let's remember, like, you are the primary parent for your 2 children and like have all the other responsibilities of life.
That is true. It's a little bit easier during the school year because I don't have a big C capitalism job, so I can read during the day. But I also it became a bit of a like stressor in my life to have to read that read that much. You know, you see these people who have these reading breakdowns where they read like a 200, 300 page book a day, and you're like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah,
I can't do that.
Our friend Rebecca's like that.
Our friend Rebecca.
Yeah.
She'll blow
if
my
I tell
brain.
her I'm reading a book, she will go rent the book. I'll be halfway through it. She'll outread me. She'll be like, all right, I finished it. And I'm like, I just started. Like, stop that.
Stop it.
Then she'll like read the rest of the series and I'll still be on the first book. Like, she's so fast with it. And I'm just like, what are you doing in your day?
I know, because she's also working and like does a good job.
She's at work.
When I was working at my desk job 8 years ago now, I was an audiobook person specifically. And I would consume an audiobook or 2 a week or more because I didn't have to, I just listened to stuff all day long at my desk and do my data entry shit. Now I don't do that anymore. I just read physical books.
Well, or
not physical, I read ebooks most of the time.
I was reading audio so much, and lately I've been having the hardest time focusing on it. Yeah. Anyway, okay, I have another question for you as a reader. I wish we had like focused on this a bit more in our conversation. So is there like a form of communication that you have seen authors do that you really are like, ooh, that grabs my attention, right? Like for a really basic example, like book with the squiggly like arrows that like say like different tropes that are in it. Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about marketing things.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
what is it that like
you're asking for marketing. Okay, from a marketing perspective, things that catch my attention?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
and if you don't have an answer, you can say I don't have an answer. Like, I don't mean to put the weight of all of us on you. I don't have
an answer, but there are things that I will look for specifically. I am a 5-year-old baby and I need you to just spell things out for me. So I really appreciate it when it's in the title. Like when you're telling me what it's going to be right there in the title.
Like,
like Ready for Her Alien Husband, a cozy alien romance.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Yeah.
It's all right there in the title. For some reason, I appreciate that.
No, I think that's fair. I think that's like the way that most Harlequin romances were named.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also like, I'm not a cover snob per se, but if I don't like the cover of your book, it's gonna be harder for you to catch my attention and get me to read your book.
I have a harder time opening up covers I don't like too.
Yeah. And I also have like not specific expectations of what your cover should be like, but like cartoon style covers with animated people on the front of them. If that is not a contemporary romance, shut your fucking mouth. Like, why? I just expect that your cute little cartoon duo is going to be a contemporary romance. That's just what it like.
It does.
I
think like that really is like the contemporary market.
It is right now.
It is.
Yeah.
And
so
it's probably some combination of like things that work right now, and so they're just making more of the same. And like Ali
because they're easy to do.
Covers are recognizable. Yeah,
it's cheaper than like getting a photo shoot or getting photo licenses. It's it's a lot less complicated, and that's why the publishing industry has like so readily embraced that. I do see a lot of people talking about like that they don't like the bare-chested like photoshopped man covers. Like, and to me that's like. But this is how I communicate to you that they do fuck on page. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yes. Like,
yeah,
I don't mind a naked man on the cover or like a bare-chested man on the cover. The ones I really hate are like a close-up of the dude's face and he's staring directly at you.
No, that's so in like an art history kind of way.
This. Don't take my soul.
Seriously, on my tablet for a while, the ad that when you opened the tablet because it's a Kindle something or a Amazon something was just a man's face staring at me with these really intense blue eyes.
Uncomfortable.
And I was like, I'm never reading this book or any book that this man is on the cover of ever, because he makes me uncomfortable.
There was like this huge trend, and I think like the faceless, like bare-chested, like is part of it. But like I remember in YA romance, there was this trend of like you would have like your girl on the cover, and she's like in a ball gown or whatever, and she's facing away, and people made fun of this so much. But to me, it made so much sense because it's like you're self-inserting
like
onto her now. Yes, the selection is exactly what I was thinking of. There's like 20 of those.
Yeah.
Ugh. Of course. Well, they are the ones that popularize that style, though.
Well, and I think that this is like just kind of a part of like humans being super critical, right? Because if they see a pattern, then they start poking at the pattern.
Yeah.
Right?
Freaking monkeys just can't leave anything alone.
alone. So there's like this moment in art history in like I want to say the 1800s earlier. There's this painting called the Olympia, which was like we've at this point in history, paintings of prostitutes were not like super risque at you would have like a naked woman. The implication is like this is her the room where she does her business. But like it was very normal for like her gaze to be averted, and the Olympia kind of stands out in history because it got such a huge public reaction because she makes eye contact with the viewer, and it made people uncomfortable. It made men uncomfortable I think it kind of does that same thing of like, I'm here to get my rocks off and you are like confronting me with your eyes, you're looking directly at me and I'm like, I don't want to be perceived right now. And I think like, it's so interesting to me that like we get this sort of reaction.
Also, it's harder to objectify someone who is making eye contact.
Yes.
Yeah, it humanizes them.
Well, and like there's also this element to me, like because I do the graphic design background stuff, having someone's actual face on like to represent something to me always feels like so, all right, that's your face on that like what's like here's your face on freaking erectile dysfunction pills, like yes. now that's you, man.
Now that's
like,
you.
Oh no.
Yep.
To me, and like to me, like putting someone's actual face on like a romance novel feels like putting too fine a point on it for that. In that sense, for me, like this little too personal.
I guess it depends. When you come to your monster romances and stuff, I need a graphic depiction of what that guy looks like on the cover, please. So when you're describing it, I actually know what it looks like because I can't picture 100%. It super good.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate like Casso Shire. She has beautiful covers and they are cartoon people, but they're done by Phantom Dame, whose style is beautiful. But she very specifically is going for a depiction of her characters that looks real. Like they're not these stylized cartoons. There's
a little like less homogeneity of like, because there's like a more I could talk about like the art of it.
So like, I'm thinking of like, and like tell me, I don't know her covers. Are they kind of like Lillian Lark's?
Lillian Lark. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are. They are kind of like Lillian Lark's covers. They are less cartoony. Does that make sense?
They're not
less
realism,
two-dimensional.
But they are, they're not flat. They use lines. They use like more shading. I think what you get a lot in the contemporary space is that like people call it vector. It's not vector, but like there's a lot of like people never use the words for like graphic design correctly. Like I'm not gonna like whatever. It's
we don't need to talk about font and text. Okay,
it's fine.
But yeah, so they don't look like Flat Stanley.
Yeah, exactly.
They have depth to them, and for the characters that she has created, she's doing a really in-depth romantasy. You're getting a description of a person that is so like broad, like so exacting that the person on the cover is exactly who it is.
No, I get that. I do appreciate like being able to, and I think like when you're working with an illustrator who, well, they're wholesale creating a face and a person like and a character like. And you're not getting that element of this is a real person who has a different day job and like has no connection to this whatsoever in reality. That for me is kind of like off-putting when you're using like an actual person on the cover, like a photograph.
I see what you're saying. So like you see the model and you're like, this is a person that is a person in this world, in this reality, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You can't separate them.
I have a hard time separating like this is like attaching the character to the photographed model, because I'm thinking about the photographed model. I do this too much in movies too, because I'm like always looking for the thing that's gonna pull you out of it.
Okay,
I don't know.
This is what I have a problem watching TV sometimes, because I think about the fact that just off screen there is an entire like crew of people.
So
and everybody's just like saying their lines.
So this is like very interesting to me, and like kind of like drawing connections in my brain. Because like the idea of like a hall pass to me,
okay,
if I had to say something like that, it would be Tommy Shelby from Peaky Blinders, but it is not Cillian Murphy, right?
Yes.
I love Cillian Murphy. He seems very wonderful and charming and intelligent. Great seemingly man, right? But he still farts, right? Like he's just a man.
He's still just a person. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, Tommy Shelby is not a human, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, very interesting.
No, I completely agree with you. Like there's this, I've always been really fascinated by the idea of book boyfriends. You know, people who get so attached to these MMCs that they think of them as real people, because I can't do that. I have a really solid wall between me and fiction. Same way, like I don't understand people who have like AI psychosis. I think there's a really solid wall between me and the AI. But where was I going with this?
People getting attached to their book boyfriend.
People, getting attached to your book boyfriends. I'm fascinated by the concept of the book boyfriend, by the idea that you would want someone to pop out of the page and like be that person in real life. Because most of the time, these are people I do not want anything to do with.
Right? Because like, no, you would be terrifying in real life. Like, kind of vibes.
Yeah, exactly. And not just the like the human monsters too. The dark romance girlies who are like, I really want so and so to like climb in my window. You absolutely do not.
No.
You absolutely do not. And if you try it, I will kill you. Like, you must be out your mind. So you're talking about hall passes. The idea that you could hall pass a book boyfriend or a character in a book is just fascinating to me. Does that actually mean you want to hall pass that author?
Yeah, because like the author's what's
the author's the creator. Yeah.
Exactly. Somewhere deep in there is Zane or whoever.
Yeah. So like the connection you're drawing is like this shared fantasy between you and someone else, which I don't like drawing that connection. Can we delete that? I don't like that.
No. I like this like path of like, we were talking about separation of the art from the artist earlier. And I'm kind of like, well, can you separate? Because this person is speaking to you and they're building a relationship through their words.
Yeah, but at the same rate,
you're laughing at their jokes. You're saying, you're right there, you know?
But at the same rate, it's like that creepy question of like, Andrew has been asked, like, are you her inspiration for these scenes? And I don't like that line being drawn, because like Andrew and I are not in the page, right? Like these are, we're not there. I understand like this is like a creation of my mind, and I see how like be confusing for people, but like it is such a clear distinction to me that I don't know if I could express it. These are not inspired by any people. Like they are completely made up in this world that I completely made up.
See, okay, so because like our Smut Coven thing, is our critique group. Where every Tuesday and Saturday night, if someone has a chapter, they read their chapter, people say, make comments on it. They say, ooh, I like this, I don't like that. But you're reading the chapter aloud to the group is what it is.
Yeah, because so I don't have time for homework. I can't read everybody's chapters on my own.
No. And I think like it does make it a more, I think there's like so many good things in like reading your own work out loud makes you stop and slow down through it.
And hear
then
it.
You do spot a lot more little errors.
Yeah.
And I think it's a better reading experience for you, the writer, because you're not just skimming through the same paragraph like 30 times and missing the same error, you know? I feel like that's like a common stumbling point that this really solves. Total misdirection. When I read my chapters, every now and then Austin, because like sometimes he overhears. Yeah. And he'll say, that thing that like you wrote in there, that's me. And I'm like, it wasn't, but okay. Glad you see yourself in that guy. Because I'm like, I don't want to tell you that no, it's not you, because it's not anybody. But I'm glad you feel represented.
Yeah.
You feel loved and cherished.
Oh, that's really sweet. That's really sweet.
That's good though.
Yeah, Andrew.
It's good.
Andrew, like, he's like, I will read your work if you want me to. He's just like, I also know I will be so paranoid in my head. I'm like, I don't want you to read it. Like, I really don't. Because I also know the way that you just turn circles. Like, he would not draw comparisons to himself in a positive way. He would only draw comparisons to himself in a negative way. The elements that I'm like, oh, I could see how that's influenced by Andrew. Like, how my heroes tend to be very supportive, and the way that like the conflict resolution tends to come through, like that's a very Andrew me sort of thing. Like there was that whole chapter I shared where I was like, are these two arguing like humans? Meanwhile, I wrote that and it's like, this is exactly how Andrew and I argue. That's how I know it's not normal, right? Like like this is very much like us. But he would never draw that comparison. He would only draw it to like the moments where so-and-so's super insecure, right? Like, because like, yeah, his, you know, sometimes our brains are just not kind to us. And
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, there was, I think I was telling you about this. One of my in-person friends read one of my books recently, and it was a Google Doc because it was still a draft. She was making all these comments on it, and like every like other page, she would highlight a chunk and then be like, "This is so my husband," and I'd be like, "Well, I didn't know your husband when I wrote this, so like you understand, I'm not just writing him." But now so that's in my head as I'm writing this other thing, because like this character who I came up with before I met her husband shares like a physical trait with her husband. And so now I'm like, do I just change that so she doesn't just keep saying this to me?
That's so funny.
But like at the same time, I love that like people, they see something and they go, I love that. And I see someone I love in that. And I think that's also really good. So like I'm like torn on it.
That's weird.
So I think it's great.
It means that your characters are really human.
Yeah.
Right?
I hope so.
Or I guess really real, because you don't always write humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for the most part, it's I would say there's a good mix of monsters in there.
Well, but like even like, I mean, part of the whole thing with monster romance is like, yeah, they're monsters, but there's still this, like you touched on this, Katie, where there's still this like the idea of the things about the masculine that we like, right?
Yes. All
this is something
masculine traits.
Yes. It was a Tasha L. Harrison that really got into my head, because I think she said this. I could be totally wrong. I'll edit that out. There was a tweet I saw that really got into my head that was like, some monster romances, that's just a guy. Like,
yep, it's just a guy.
And I had a moment of like, am I making them too much? Just that's a guy. But at the same time, like there's some things like I really want to ground down into the reality of like what people are like.
Well, but like you made a comment on a short story I wrote recently where there was a trope and you're like, I don't like this outside of romance, like monster romance. And you make a good point with that trope where it's like, I don't know, like I want to say it was like an abnormal amount of like bonding.
I remember making the comment. Bonding? I don't remember what it was about anymore.
Yeah, like bonding, like that there was like almost like this unrealistic amount of like emotional physical bonding, right? Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. And so like, and I remember when I wrote it, I was like, this is not like a human reality. And then you marked it and I was like, okay, no, it's definitely not in a human reality. So like, I think
it was reading a little more Fated Mate.
Yeah, exactly. Fated Mate. Thank you so much.
That might have been it.
And so, yes, you are grounding them in like, you know, human like traits, but you also have so much more freedom because they are still not human.
Yeah,
right?
No. And exactly. I think like when you because I'm always like trying to steer myself away from like the insta love kind of trope. I feel like it's hard to do that one justice because it can easily feel so flat. So I just try to steer away from it.
I agree.
I love instas.
I see, like, but you got to do it right.
You got to do it.
You got to.
Yeah. I mean, I guess part of my problem is that I read a lot of really short books.
Oh yeah, so there's some amount of like insta love necessity.
Yeah,
one of those words I can never say.
Necessitated. Yeah.
Yes.
You do need some amount of insta just to get into a story that's only like 90 pages long, or whatever.
Or like they need some set up pre-existing relationship. Like you have to like make it feel like this could happen. And
like this
just,
is
you gotta take that leap. You just gotta accept it that they are
Well,
really
that was
ready
one
to
of
go
the
down.
things with Accidentally Under Your Tree that I was like, okay, this connection has to happen so quickly and be believable. And so it's like, okay, well, what circumstances would create that kind of opportunity?
I think like something that is kind of hard to communicate to the reader, especially through like the written word, is you can't necessarily, because you can just go, you can describe your hero, let's say his face, you can describe his rippling pecs, like you can go into as much detail as you want, but that's not necessarily going to like make your reader go, oh, so he's hot, you know? And I see the attraction, I feel the attraction, you know, it's like you have to really build that up.
Also, like me as a reader, I'm like, great, he's hot. He has the personality of like a jackass and I don't like him, right? Like he's not giving like, any reason for her to fall in love other than he's hot, right?
Dude, can I tell you like an absolutely random ass story?
Yeah.
So I can keep going on tangents. I was driving home one day and I like, you know, you're in rush hour traffic. We're all kind of like creeping along 20 miles per hour. And I looked into this car that was like beside me and I saw this like youngish guy, kind of like average looking, let's say, but he was gripping the steering wheel and he had like a bunch of like packaging tape just wound around his hand. This is so insane.
Oh my God.
He was like, it was like spreading out to the rest of the car and I was like, I have to know this story so bad. I just was so enamored with this guy. I just kept looking at him like, I know nothing except he's got a lot of packing tape and there's like something going on there. And I was just so
packing tape wrapped around his hand, and then it was like around the car too.
Like, I want you to think of like just a mess of packing tape. It
so
could
it's
have
like
been
a
plastic
web?
wrap, honestly. Like not just a mess, like just a bunch of it, and he's holding on to it at the same time he's holding on to the steering wheel, and he's also just got it spread out all over his car.
God,
like I could not tell exactly what it was about.
Okay.
No, but like I looked and like there's this hour-long car ride and I'm just like I kept looking over there like he's still
maybe if I look longer, I'll understand.
I formed a little crush on this guy just like knowing absolutely nothing about him, and like there's that in-person element of being charmed by someone for no goddamn reason.
Okay, but there is
I don't really think you can put too much. I don't think. See, because like that could have been some serial killer shit. He could have.
It could have
been a bad reason.
Like it could be a terrible reason, but there's a mystery there, right?
Right. No,
he didn't walk up to you and be like, "Don't fall in love with me. I'll just break your heart." And now you're fucking obsessed with him, right? Like there's a mystery there. There's something you don't know. And so the more you were watching and the more you were like gleaming this and that. And so like that's an interesting character thing, right?
Yeah. But I don't think you could get the kind of like affection that you're looking for.
No, but like
I love that the wad of packing tape is like this universe's version of giant spider guy.
Yes. Oh, like one of Tiffany Roberts' characters.
I fucking love Tiffany Roberts' giant spider people. They're the best.
Oh my God. I'm going to see her at the Ripped Bodice this October.
Ooh.
Melt out
They're
of my
so
skin.
nice.
I'm very
They're some of the nicest people I've ever met.
Oh yeah, because it's her and her husband, right?
It's her and her husband. Yeah. Tiffany and Robert.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's so neat. Like, I fucking love how like easy that is.
I know. They're just so nice, and they constantly they speak like they're afraid that this is all going to come crashing down any moment and they're going to wake up.
Oh.
I'm just delighted by them. By every author I've ever met is like a celebrity to me, and I got a fair number under my belt now, so I feel really cool.
You are really cool.
Yeah, because you were at Monsterotica. I bet you met like everybody there.
I did. I loved it.
Are you gonna? Did you get your email if you're getting in for next year?
They're not doing influencers next year.
Oh no! Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah. There were some issues with some influencers last year in terms of like a little bit of drama that happened right at the beginning of the announcements. And so I think Cassie just decided for the ease of everyone, we're not going to do it this year. There's still volunteer spots open, but I wasn't going to take one of those from somebody who wanted to be there as a volunteer. So if I go, I'll just go as a paying guest.
I didn't get, I'm on the wait list, but I was talking to, I think her Instagram is Fantasy Sprites Studio. Her name's Lynette. But she was like, oh, well, maybe you could volunteer like at someone's table. And I was like, just PA for someone. Just to like
say,
hang out with
can
everyone.
PA for somebody.
Oh yeah.
I do have enough connections that I could probably just ask, like, Latrex and Nova needs a PA just to themselves. They shared a PA last year and it didn't go as good as it could. There are a few people I could just offer my services to, I suppose.
So we're kind of we're past the point we normally go.
Yeah, no, we're
Katie, is there anything that like we didn't touch on that you want to touch on?
I don't think so. I didn't come in with any expectations.
Sweet.
I just wanted to talk about books.
Yeah. Awesome. Like, I honestly, that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
We are Tangent City.
You've heard us.
Well, I mean, yeah. You should hear. The only other time I've ever been on a podcast, I was on the In Our Ears podcast, which is for Gwendolyn Harper. She also hosts a podcast with her friend Dee, and they talk about audio erotica, specifically mostly on Quinn. If either of you know anything about that,
I've heard of it.
And I was on. It's great. It's audio only porn.
Okay.
Which is the preferred method of consuming porn for feminine people. So they have a podcast. They do it every week. The only time I was on that show, it was like a 3.5-hour episode because we just couldn't stop talking. So I think we're doing pretty good here at 1 hour and 20.
I mean, yeah.
We could keep going for my sake. When I edit this, we're going to cut it off here.
Yeah. Why don't we make life easier for
Kate?
Yeah,
exactly.
This was so much
fun. Do we want do a piece of reading/writing advice?
I mean, we can.
Yeah, sure.
Kate, are you going to do reading advice or are you going to do writing advice?
I'm going to do reading advice. I think audiobooks are so great. The thing you said, Katie, about when you have a day job that like doesn't require your full mental faculties, like, you know, you can still listen and be present for your job, but you're listening to an audiobook all day. That is like the majority of the way I'm doing my reading right now. And like always like listening from what is it called, Libby?
I love Libby.
Yep. You can get audiobooks on that, and so you don't have to like pay Audible. And there are just other places to get like audiobooks that like
Hoopla
are getting better at Hoopla. I think there's a lot of people I'm seeing are kind of moving towards direct sales of audiobooks, which is interesting. And,
so
I'm excited to see how that goes.
I've seen a couple authors who do almost only direct sales of their audio, and it's great. Meg Fitzpatrick, her 4 Families series, she has the most intense audiobook setup I've seen because she kickstarts all of them and then she direct sells them. It's great.
Oh, nice.
So Kate, when you edit this episode, it's storming over here, and the entire time you were giving that answer was like a thunder. So,
yeah, me too. My house was shaking.
Yeah, it was like I could see my mic picking it up, and I'm like, okay, she's gonna have like a solid 45-second to a minute to just remove rumbles.
Honestly, that's fine. I have to edit out every time you like click your mouse.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's so
was
loud.
Last episode you were doing it so much, and I was like, I'm gonna go bite her. Like
you need to tell
like,
bite her.
I'm gonna go fight her and be like, ma'am, you can't be doing this to me. I mean, I'm not close enough to bite her, but
that's so funny. Oh my God, I love it.
Katie, do you have a piece of reading advice?
Absolutely. Read something weirder than you think you can handle.
Ooh, that's fun.
I guarantee you're gonna find something that's gonna change the way you think, and it's gonna be good.
I like that.
Read something fucking weird.
I want to know like what's currently out of your depth, like what makes you go at this point, because I feel like you've consumed a lot of the weird.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Okay. So the weirdest book that I have read recently is called Hellhole: The Fleshlight That Drained Me Dry.
Fucking hilarious.
About a demonic fleshlight. It's written by an author named VX Cross. Their next book that is coming out, I will not read. That is where I cut off. They write a lot more erotic horror, and the next one that they're writing is called Pet, and it is it's a horror about a woman being broken.
Oh no,
that's not for me. But that's way more horror, less erotica. I'll read all the erotic horror all day. It doesn't have to have a happy ending for me to find it interesting or intriguing. But when we get too far into like the abusive territory or like that's something that could happen to a woman in real life and it makes me uncomfortable, I won't read that.
No, I get you. Good to have like know where your boundaries are.
Absolutely.
The demonic fleshlight, like
demonic fleshlight. That book was so good. It was so good. It was a bonus episode for Cheap Smut, but if you guys want to listen, I'll just send you the MP3.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. I'm sorry, my phone cut out at that exact moment.
No worries.
So
what about you? What's your advice?
My piece of reading advice is, oh my God, the storm is right overhead. Is whatever homework reading you're making yourself do, stop doing that and read something for fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
You don't have to finish. And I know some people have to finish a book when they start it. But if it's not bringing you joy, could you just put a pin in it and read something that is bringing you joy, just knowing that you'll go back to it eventually? You don't have to
for real.
finish
I think so many people did not get into reading and are because they feel like they have to read things that they're not super interested in. And they're like, you know, this is a good for you kind of book. And it's
absolutely,
those are good to read too.
Well,
but I think if that's your bread and butter, if you're only doing that, then of course you're not having a good time.
Well, and I have so many conversations because my favorite thing to talk about is books. And so I'll meet someone and I'll be like, do you read? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, great. What do you read? Oh, I don't read smart books. And I'm like, we don't have to be embarrassed. Right? You can just enjoy what you read. I'm not gonna but then again, some people do judge people on whether or not they're reading highbrow books or not. And so I guess my piece of writing advice is don't judge people's reading.
That's a really good piece of advice.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, the entire genre that I've built most of my personality around gets regularly hated on. Just because people think that romance isn't an intellectual pursuit or
it's absolutely wild.
Yeah. Is not, it's not correct.
Yeah.
Just factually it's incorrect. But B, why do we have this weird intellectualism thing around reading? It doesn't have to be something that's going to make you smarter, expand your mind, create new, yeah, that's great. And you should be learning and growing and changing as a person, but it's also entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's
the
same thing.
I go back to the defunding of the arts and the way that, we think, oh, because this doesn't have a hard, concrete, usefulness that we can put our finger on. And a lot of the time, the only thing people feel like they can put their finger on for what makes reading useful is the intellectual side of it.
Because it can teach you something.
Yeah.
But I didn't pick up My Date with a Mountain because I wanted to learn about Mount Mitchell. I picked it up because I wanted to figure out how Luna Cantrip was going to get a mountain to fuck a woman.
That's hilarious.
But did you learn about Mount Mitchell?
Great. I did learn a little bit about Mount Mitchell. I did. It is the tallest mountain in Appalachia.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Good for Mount Mitchell.
Got a big old dick.
I think it was a stalactite, if we're being honest. I'm pretty sure.
Proportionally kind of small for him then.
Yeah.
Right? That was one of the books I read where I love the books that have in the front matter, your triggers and your content. They'll say, don't do this in real life because it's dangerous, physically dangerous for your health.
Hilarious. God, I love that.
Anyone where somebody is made out of rocks or dirt, and anyone where somebody's made out of soap or chemicals or they're you can't. I read was it? Oh fuck, I can't remember the man book. He had 2 penises, and one of the penises only blew bubbles.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
And it filled her up with bubbles, and those bubbles were full of pheromones, and that's how they triggered basically a heat.
But that is something that in real life will rupture your cervix.
It was fascinating. But yeah, she was don't blow bubbles into your uterus because you will get a pulmonary, you'll get an embolism and die.
Yeah.
You can't do this. Those are my favorite kind of books. We're yeah.
Don't do this.
Don't do that in real life.
It comes with a lot of warnings. All right.
Or if your content page is 3 pages long.
So Katie, where can they find you on the internets?
I am at Cheap Smut Pod on TikTok and Instagram and Threads. I'm not super active on social media, but you can always kind of find me there because I lurk. You can find Cheap Smut, the podcast, on any podcasting platform. And if you don't find it on your preferred platform, let us know so we can get the RSS updated.
Nice.
There are currently 110 episodes available. And I hope you can find something that you enjoy. I like every episode, but again, I'm very biased.
Awesome. It's a really fun listen. Definitely give it a listen.
Marty, where can they find you?
I am at Marty the Author on TikTok and Instagram. I am also a lurker. You can subscribe to my newsletter martyv.com. And that is really the best way to communicate with me. At this point, I should have a new... Sorry, my brain just went a little upside down. I just remembered something. Everything's fine. At this point, I should have a new reader magnet, Entirely Yours. And I have to say, some of my funniest work. Like, it is such a fun read. So,
no, the characters are so mean to each other.
God, they're so fucking funny. I love them so much. Like, they're just, the banter is so bickery and
good.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fun. Give it a read. And Kate did the cover art and it's super, super cute.
Hell yeah, she did. What about you, Kate? Where do we find you? Where are you?
You can find me at my website, kate-pryor.com. That's where you can find all of my books, all of my socials, all of my everything, pretty much. Not my home address. Yeah. But
not my home address.
Keeping that off of
Please
there.
God,
for now.
not your home address.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
No doxing the authors.
Yes.
No, don't do that. We don't
do
enjoy that.
That's not kind.
Oh, hopefully by the time this episode is out, Be My Bad Guy will either be on pre-order or it'll be out.
Oh, yeah.
So
also,
enjoy that.
Remy and Alicia Can't Fall Again should probably be out at this time.
Go look for it.
Go look for it. If not, it's on pre-order. Whoop whoop. So, all right. Yeah. Listener, thanks for hanging.
Thank you for hanging. Bye, listener.
Katie, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
It was fun. I liked this.
This was awesome.
We should do this without the recording part. Just like have some more often.
Yeah. I'm around every Tuesday.
Listener, you can't always listen to us. Some things are for us.
I don't keep this short, but I am doing the potty.
Yeah. All right, love you. Bye.
All right, I'll let you get going. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Are you doing your thing? Are you being weird?